We had some computer difficulties. Welcome to the Tony Rodriguez Show, the Next Gen USA. I got my normal crew, Mike from Maryland. I got Steamboat Willie here from an undisclosed location. And of course, we got our favorite actor, Al Collins, also a board member of the West Valley Chamber of Commerce. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Hey, I want to start out positive because there's a lot of negative crap going on in the world today. But I want to start out by the event that I attended last night with Al, the West Valley Chamber of Commerce. Um, I, I've said this numerous times, but that is the best chamber I've ever been part of. Um, People actually want to help each other. They want to help each other's business. Um, they're friendly. They're caring. Not just about the businesses in the chamber, but the community itself, which is a big plus. Um, and of course, their CEO, Diana. I mean, that if anybody wants to learn about being a leader, just follow her around. Um, and she doesn't have to teach. Just follow her, and you'll learn how to lead people and get the job done. Super impressive. I can't say enough about the organization. But thank you, Al, for getting me involved. Um, I had a very
I had a
negative
very
attitude
negative
about
attitude
chambers
about chambers
until I met you.
until I
So
met
thank
you.
you.
So thank you.
You're very welcome.
So
So
let's talk
let's
about
talk about
um, well, we can talk about the president's speech first, right? Um, I'm going to give you my thoughts, and then you guys give me feedback. Um, First of all, I'm not a big fan of commingling funds. His request for money for tying the request for money to both Ukraine and Israel is not a good thing for me. I'm not a big fan of that. Um, First of all, there's no accountability for the Ukraine money, and now if you commingle funds, who knows where the funds are really going?
Right.
And I have a problem with that. The second thing I have a problem with is nothing against Iran in his speech, right? Um, Look, at the end of the day, we know Iran is part of this.
Right.
We know the Navy already exchanged, shot off some drones today near Yemen. So
Yep.
he didn't address any of that, and I was hoping he would address some of those issues.
No,
But he kept it.
you know what?
He kept it in the money room.
Yeah, you know
Go ahead, Will.
why he didn't address it, Tony? You know why the president of the United States refused to address the Iranian issue?
Why?
Is because Barack Obama
Oh,
sold to the Iranians. Joe Biden sent a clear message across the bow, even though they're trying to back on it now. Sent a clear message across the bow that yes, guess what we'll do? We will pay $1 billion per hostage if we have to. This was a bad foreign policy from day one. Well, bad foreign policy back when Mike Riker and I were talking about we need to bomb the fuck out of Tehran and get the caliphate out. And then Hamas loses and Hezbollah. They lose their support base.
they lose their funding.
And it's not the
Yep.
You know,
Iranian, it's not the Iranian people. It is the caliphate. It is the caliphate that is doing this. And when I see teenagers, exactly. But when I see teenagers and 20-somethings protesting in Washington, D.C., supporting Hamas, this country is in real trouble.
They got their heads up their ass.
well, they buy into the madness, right? That's the problem. People buy into madness because the person across the street said this is a good thing. They buy into it. That's all it is, right? They don't want to think for themselves and say, think about this, right? They're terrorists. They're attacking people. What are you supposed to do when somebody attacks you? You defend yourself, right? Most of us do anyway,
Exactly.
right? It doesn't have to be a violent defense, but you defend yourself. And these clowns or these young people that believe that Hamas is a good organization, um, I don't think they really realize that Hamas is using the Palestine people as a shield. Right?
Human shield.
It's a
They're cowards.
Yep.
They're cowards. They're cowards. and this is why Netanyahu, and I know it's a harsh thing for him to have to say, but this is why Benjamin Netanyahu said, "Look, yes, we recognize that we have hostages here, but our main objective before rescuing any hostage, our main objective is to eradicate Hamas. Period. And that's why. Now, the one thing the president did do is commander in chief. We are weak. We are ready for this war. We've been fighting it too. We've been fighting this for a long time.
I don't think, I mean, him speaking, first of all, he's a weak leader, right? So anybody around the world is listening to him, and what they're thinking is what I'm thinking when he's talking and I'm driving. Blah, 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 right? He's not really making a strong statement. Yeah, he talks about the U.S. being the lead country in the world, but I don't know who he's fooling, because we're not the lead country in the world anymore. We're not.
Well,
people don't follow.
You're absolutely right, Tony. And the fact of the matter is this: we could have done so many things differently. Look, he was vice president under a president who literally bowed to the king of Saudi Arabia. No president bows to Saudi. Never. I don't know what they were thinking.
Just chanting.
Well, we live in a world, at least in our country, that people are so divided, right? So he's trying to appease everybody by being the saying the things that he thinks people want to hear. And most people are going to say, that was a great speech. That is the greatest speech ever in history, right? They're not paying attention to the speech, right? They're listening to his calm words and his demeanor, but they're not listening to what he's really saying, right? And that's what I want to know. What are you really saying? I don't care about your demeanor. I want to know what you're really saying, right? And what I got out of it is, yeah, I need money. That's it. I'm going to ask Congress for money.
That's it.
But Congress, but here is where he's really off base. Because look, we can blame this whole thing. We can blame this whole thing on Joe Biden. But look at the dysfunction in the Republican Party in Washington.
Well,
and I don't know what the hell Jim Jordan's thinking. He needs to get the hell out of this speaker's race. And I'll tell you what I would do. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. I would call it a draw. I would put Hakeem Jeffries in as speaker, because the Republicans are going to lose the House.
Oh, hell no.
Let me finish. The Republicans are going to lose the House anyway. That's how screwed up the Republicans are. And then you have the majority. You create a coalition. A government like Netanyahu did. All of Netanyahu's opposition is working with him because it's more about Israel than it is about partisan politics in Israel. I don't understand how we can't as a government anymore. And all I'm going
Mikey, what do you got to say?
Keep making marijuana legal. That's all.
I say keep Hakeem Jeffries' ass on the bench. I mean, we had enough of Nancy Pelosi. We don't need a Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, but the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats is that Nancy Pelosi, whether we agree with the politics or not, Nancy Pelosi was strong Speaker of the House.
So Mikey,
what do you think?
She's a crook.
Or not?
Mikey, who do you think should be a speaker of the House? Should be the Speaker of the House.
I like Jim Jordan. I like Scalise. It's for them to battle out. They gotta take those 20 people who are for people outside that aren't gonna make a hill of beans, and they've got to unify themselves, and that's what they need to do. And they're not doing it. They're playing games.
In theory, you're right? We need to shake hands and kumbaya and think about what's best for everybody. But I think
Yeah,
you
that
can
works.
agree with this. I think you can
Yeah.
agree that we have two Republican parties, right? We have the rhinos, and then we have the others, and that's where
Yeah.
the battle is, right?
Right.
They're not willing to even work together,
Yep.
and myself as a a conservative uh, political person would want them to at least say, okay, guys, we don't agree on this, but we can agree on this. And let's do what's best for the nation, right? And Will might be right. We're
Right.
probably going to lose the seats this election because of the nonsense, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
they don't stick
we
together,
are.
right? So, at some point, we need to be big boys and girls and say, you know what? I know I'm a narcissistic, dumbass politician, and my head is big and my ego is even bigger, but maybe we should do the right thing for the people of the republic and get over ourselves,
Right.
because that's the
Do the
big
right thing. Do
problem
the right thing.
is
Right.
Do the right thing for the who? Do
for
the
the
right
American
thing for who?
people.
For the people.
Exactly. This is what they're not concerned about.
But
This is what they're not concerned about. The American people.
right, they're not, because the American people have allowed them to get these big heads. Here's a great example, and I talked to you about this morning. The money that's been collected for the Senate election, where Mr. Adam Schiff is running, and Miss Porter and Barbara Lee and Eric Early and Steve Garvey. So in the last 3 months, Adam Schiff has collected over $8 million. Right, last 3 months. Katie Porter has collected over
From
$3 million. All right. Barbara Lee has collected $1.1 million in the last 3 months, right? From the Democrat side. From the Republican side, Eric Early has collected $270,000
Okay.
the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Right. And there's nobody else besides Steve Garvey who's probably going to get more money than Eric Early, just based on he was a first baseman for the Dodgers, right? So
Right.
there lies the problem. If the people don't see what the problem truly is, this madness will continue to happen over and over and over. How does Adam Shithead get so much money and everybody knows he's a crook and he's dirty, right? How does Katie Porter get $3 million? We know, and we know her good because she's in your was in your district. She's kind of a bitch, right? And she's get $3.5 million. She's made over $7 million in the last 6 months.
No, I understand.
You don't
I
hear
understand.
anything. You don't hear anything about her campaign. You don't see any commercials about her. So all this money, where is it going?
So did you ever think, Tony, that the Democrats are smarter, the California smarter than California Republicans?
Well, I think that all the time.
What a thought.
I think that on the federal level. I think it on the federal level, because
Yeah.
they know how to operate a
Yeah.
business, and that's what they're doing, operating a business. You never hear any disgruntled people in the Democratic Party. Even if AOC's talking out of her ass, nobody in the Democrat side say anything negative about her, right? Even if the rest of her crew say things that support Hamas, you don't hear anyone from the Democratic Party talking bad about them, right? Because family keep their business in-house. You don't put it out in the street like the Republican Party does. We just lay it out there. Go ahead.
Let me just, and I know I bore people with history. I would have made a great history teacher. All of the kids in class would have fallen asleep. But yeah, Al's laughing because he knows. Well, y'all know. I mean, this is not like a state secret or something. But the thing is, every time we have been into a world war, every time we've approached a world war, it has been a Democrat with a bad economy that has got Woodrow Wilson, FDR. Though FDR was necessary for time. But FDR was elected to 4 terms. The only president to be elected to 4 terms. He only served 3 terms in a couple months. But still, he must have got there early, because when FDR, by the time before the war was over, FDR died as president at the age of 63. Now we're talking about a president in his 80s. And maybe the medication's better today. I don't know. All I'm saying is whether it's, and Mike, you get mad at me if you want, but the Republican Party is literally handing this over to the Democrats. And I do not believe, by hook or by crook, I do not believe we would be in this predicament had Donald Trump been reelected. They were afraid of him. I mean, look, half of us are afraid of him. But the point is, our foreign policy went south. And when we went to Joe Biden, and I do pray for the president, I do, but the policies were even worse than they were under Barack Obama.
Oh yeah.
So explain to me why nobody's talking about, except Tulsi Gabbard, except Kristi Noem, except Senator Mike Gabbard, and except for another chosen few. Why is nobody listening? And Donald Trump too. Why do they not understand? All these people have said it. We are on the brink of a 3rd World War. And we've already opened up 2 fronts.
Breaking up real bad.
And we opened up with Yemen, yes. But America, for some reason, we think we have to go to war to do this thing.
Well,
and look, we got a Democrat on the platform tonight, an independent-minded Democrat, Al Collins. You know, we said Al Collins did nations.
you're really breaking up, Will.
I think you're breaking up bad. I don't know if it's just me, but you're like every other word.
So I want to ask everybody this question, because tonight President Biden compared Putin to Hamas, right?
I agree.
It kind of makes sense. I never really thought he was a terrorist, but he kind of is, in the sense what he's doing in the Ukraine and wanting to take it back because Ukraine was part of Russia and blah 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 and blah blah blah. But I think at least with Putin, when he fights a war, he's fighting a conventional war. With Hamas, it's not going to be conventional, right? It's going to be kind of like it was in Iraq.
Yeah, no, that's not true. Yeah, that's not true, though. What Putin is doing, Putin is literally doing the same thing Iran and Hamas does. They're kidnapping Ukrainian children, and we have over at least over 100,000 Ukrainian children not accounted for. Same thing Hamas did.
Okay.
Same thing Hamas did with this attack on Israel.
Okay. So here's a question for you. Here's a question for you. We know all the children that were kidnapped from Israel, right? By Hamas. We've seen pictures and all that, right? I'm going to bring this back home. We still don't know who's missing in Hawaii from the fires, right?
That's true.
True.
We still don't know who's missing from Ukraine, but yet we know who's missing from Israel, right? So the people in charge, it's whatever's convenient for them, right? If you can tell me all the names and pictures of all the kids being kidnapped in Israel, you can't tell me in Hawaii who's freaking missing, right? Does it make sense to you guys? Because it doesn't make sense to me, right?
You should probably call Senator Mike Gabbard and ask him that question.
He probably doesn't even know.
It might be an immigration issue. it might be an immigration type thing where you show a passport if you're joint citizenship over there, and if you're an American and you don't have your passport, nobody really knows. So it's kind of
right?
strange.
But I think we should
Yeah,
know
it's
who's
strange.
missing in Hawaii, don't you think?
I think we should.
We
That's
should.
our back door.
I'm just saying
Of course.
it's one of our states. We should know, but we don't, or we claim we don't. That's who knows what's really happening. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we do know and they don't want to release it, right? And that's another issue. Why not, right? Why don't you want to release the information? Right? And FEMA's involved, so anytime FEMA's involved in anything, I'm very concerned because FEMA is not in there
Right.
for our best interests 99% of the time. So I want to move to Sidney Powell.
Oh God, what a disaster!
Yes, you got
You
a
had to go
sweetheart deal.
there. You had to. Tony Rodriguez had to go there.
Yep. I want to talk about Sidney Powell because she's rolling, right? Actually, she rolled. She's not rolling. She rolled. So now we know she's going to testify against Trump. We know that, right? And the cronies.
Yep.
What do you think? How do you think that's going to affect Trump during the trial? Mikey, you.
I'm not really sure. I mean, she got a sweetheart of a deal because they're all misdemeanors.
Right.
She does 6 months probation and no jail time, so she gets nothing. So it's going to be hard to say. I mean, they can say, well, she's a convicted criminal. She's the one that said release the Krakens.
But
Yeah,
here's,
she did.
here's the
going to
funny
be
thing,
interesting.
Mike. But here's the funny thing, Mike. She was convicted of. She pled to misdemeanors.
Right.
So she be disbarred as an attorney.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, she can keep her law license, and I think we put Al to sleep.
And she won't be on the RICO charges.
I think we put Al to sleep. Should we wake him up?
Charges either then.
No, she's not. She's not. And so
right.
You know that part of the sweetheart deal was for her to testify against everybody, right? What everybody knew, what they didn't know, who was involved, who directed it,
right.
And her being one of his attorneys, she had the man's ear, right?
I don't understand why she didn't claim attorney-client privilege, Tony.
I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, so I don't know, but I do know that there's probably going to be more people that are going to do what she did, cut a deal, and they're all going to cut a deal to get the head, right? Because that's who they want. They want Trump. And the reason I bring it up is because I've been saying this for over a year that I don't think Trump's going to be the Republican candidate running for president. I think they're going to take him out. I think whether it's legally or he's going to bow out because of so much nonsense, he's not going to be running for president.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. Because there's no reason why DeSantis is staying in the race when he's over 50 points behind Trump. No reason. Right? He knows.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. That's a mathematical reality.
And
right.
we know that Trump is not going to select him for any position in his presidency. We know that, right? So there is no reason for him to be in the race unless he's part of the nonsense that's going on in Congress, where we have two different Republican parties fighting, and he knows that the Democrats are going to probably force Trump to bow out. That's just me speaking. I don't have any inside knowledge, but everything I look at, kind of like with Governor Newsom, gonna do that debate against DeSantis. Why? There's no reason
he's
for
take
two governors.
from what I hear.
What's that?
That's it. That's good. That's it.
So I hear he's going to take a trip to Israel as well.
Of course he is. because I still believe that it's not going to be Biden against Trump. I just don't believe that. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I was wrong, but I don't believe it. I think it's still going to be Newsom against DeSantis in the end. Um, and Newsom will win.
Hey, we're at the bottom of the hour, and we should give Al Collins the floor to talk about that event last night. Yeah. I've never heard you guys so excited.
That's because we had a lot of free food.
Yeah, it's one of our best events. It's one of our best events of the year. We raise a lot of money for the nonprofit, and we help the surrounding businesses as well. So it's a really good event. And we're looking forward to doing it again next year. And by the way, the LAPD Grateful Hearts event will be in March of next year. So as soon as I have a date for that, then I will get that to you.
And they have raffles.
Yes.
You and Tony last night. They're like you were on the red carpet at the Oscar.
Well, we sure had fun, didn't we, Tony?
Great night. No politics, just fun.
Yeah, definitely a good time. So that's it.
I want to address Robert Kennedy. So today, there's that echo. So today he announced that he wants reparations for everybody in the nation, in the republic. He supports reparations from the federal budget. I had hope for him, but for me, this is a deal breaker. He's going down a path that I think he's only going down that path because he sees that he doesn't have a chance to win, and he's hoping that helps him win. And that's very disappointing for me because I met him, and he seemed like he had his head on straight. But now the things that are coming out from his family make a lot of sense. So I'm not sure why he announced that, but he did, and it's going viral. And that's not going to help his campaign at all. It's not going to help him at all.
Is that $1 for everybody?
He wishes.
Well,
just saying the words reparations is a negative connotation. It's not even the amount of money. It's just negative connotation. Right. And so in my place, I hear reparations and I shut down. Doesn't matter what you say after that. I'm done. Right. Because I don't want to be held accountable for things that happen in for the Salem witch trials. That's not my fault. They're going to blame me for that too, right? At some point, we weren't there, so I'm sorry things happened to you about that. I'm sorry those things happened.
I meant to talk to you about that,
but it wasn't me, right? And I should be held responsible, right? That's like people holding me responsible for what Gaston does.
About Joan of Arc. Yeah.
I want reparations. I want reparations from the Republican Party because when I joined the Republican Party, I thought they were Republican. But when you find out they're a whole bunch of lib-lab Democrats,
I saw the new design today. I saw the new design today for the Rhino Party, and it's a rhinoceros that's got the pride flag.
So, you know what, though, Mike? You know what, though, Mike?
Yeah.
Today, in today's climate, they would have called Reagan a no-till. That's exactly what the Republican Party, that's exactly what this right-wing faction did with Kevin McCarthy. If they had just let Kevin McCarthy do his thing, we would not be in this predicament. But Reagan
hopefully
did the same thing with Murphy did.
Gates will be out. His next term.
Oh, he's out. He's out.
I think, and you and I have talked about this. So the problem really started when the Tea Party became a party, right? Because that started splintering the Republican Party. And it's just kind of keeps rolling and rolling, and it keeps splitting people. You got the Trumpers, you got the non-Trumpers, then you got the central Republicans that want to, shake hands with the other side and try to resolve things. So you got all these factions fighting over it, and then you got people like me who believe we have a uniparty system where really none of them give a shit about the people. It's all about how much money they can make, right?
True. You're telling the truth when you say
so
party.
And the part that's disheartening to me is that, like, I'm not a brain surgeon and I can see this, so I know people can see what some of these people are doing, right? Why would you vote for somebody like Adam Schiff again? I don't get it, right? I just don't. Why would you vote for Gascon? Why don't you recall him? I don't understand people. Right? Why don't you get enough signatures to have school choice for your kids? Come on, parents, wake up, right? I mean, some of these things are common sense, so I don't understand why. Like, if I know that something is going wrong, I am not going to keep doing the same thing, right? I might have voted for George Bush the first time, but the second time I was smart enough not to vote for that dumbass, right? Because I did not like him. I thought he was wrong. So if we make a mistake, let's just say, Junior.
W. W and H is how we refer to them.
Well, W.
Okay, there you go. W.
So once you realize you make a mistake, common sense tells you, hey, I'm not going to do it again. Right. And that's where I think the voters need to wake up. Right. Because that's the problem. They keep voting these people in over. So, I mean, those are voting for Feinstein's position
that she's not running again. She's not running.
Who's not running?
Butler. The one that took Feinstein's spot.
Hey, Al, can you mute?
Yeah, she's not running.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So Butler's not going to run?
No. She says she can spend her time doing other things.
Well, that's a smart move on her part, though, right?
I think so. I agree.
Yeah.
Who wants that shit show, Billy?
Well, I don't think, to be honest, I don't think anybody's going to be able to beat Adam Schiff.
Not going to happen.
I think he's going to win. Tony. He's going to win.
You're right.
And there's nothing we can do about it. He's going to win. Right? Because the people really don't understand the damage he's caused. Just in our city. I mean, Burbank is the home of the movie stars and all the studios. And look who we got. Now we got Constantine Anthony, who's blaming his autism on why he's acting and reacting the way he's acting, right? This is a grown man that's blaming autism. Now he's autistic, and that's why he does the things he does, right? So we always make excuses. And what happens when people make excuses, right? Oh, he's autistic. Oh, I feel so bad for him. Let me vote him in office again. Well, maybe he's not autistic. Maybe he's just a dipshit like he is, right?
Okay, and so I agree with you. So what's Jim Jordan's excuse this time?
Well, he doesn't have an excuse. Jim Jordan is just an arrogant asswipe like the rest of them up there, right? They
That's
all
what
want to
comes
be in
out of
control.
Ohio. So I just roasted myself. But that's what you get.
But I think it's all about egos with these people. It's not about
It's ego.
like I don't
Well said.
understand why. Look, you got to compromise with your own party, right? We're not all going to agree. We none of us agree on everything, right? We just don't. That's
Right,
reality.
exactly.
But we can agree on specific things that are important to all of us, and that's where the miscommunication happens, where we don't want to give an inch, right? Well,
Yeah.
if you're married or you have a partner or you live with family, there's always compromise, right? You're not always gonna. If one person likes to eat chicken, you're not gonna eat chicken every day of the week. Or one person likes, you know, right?
It depends. It depends on who controls the menu.
Well, yeah, but pretty much we talk to each other. Hey, what do you think? Hey, let's go to San Diego. Let's go to this beach. No, I don't want to go to that one. Can we go to this one? There's always compromises, right? And we don't do enough of that, right? We just don't
Yeah, no, we
because we're
don't.
too
You're right.
busy and too arrogant to say,
Yeah.
man, if I give in to them now, they're going to always abuse me or take advantage of me. That's not going to be the case. And I'm going to give you guys a great example. I belong to the American Legion, Post 377, which in fact I did not want to join. I heard all kinds of nonsense about that American Legion, but my brother-in-law asked me to join, so I joined. I'm in this group, and all it is a cat fight between old guys about who they can hire, who they're going to fire. We're not going to have a haunted house this year for the kids because I don't like you. These are grown men who let their egos get in the way. So now
It's not much
we're not
different.
going to have a haunted house in my neighborhood because these two little punks are fighting. So who suffers? The kids.
The kids. Yep.
Right? The kids suffer. And that's what happens in politics and it happens in organizations. That's why I'm very impressed with the West Chamber, right? West Valley Chamber, because there is none of that nonsense. And if there is, the board keeps it between themselves, so we don't know, right? And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should. That's the way it should be.
Just for
You
the
can already
record,
tell
there is no political nonsense. We don't really talk about politics.
But and I don't mean just politics. I just mean in general when decisions are being made, right? About whatever you guys are going to do. Right. All that is kept at a minimum. In the American Legion, we don't talk politics. But my point is that we can't even agree on anything, or not me, because I'm not part of the leadership. But the leadership is fighting. I don't like you, and you were here before, and you left because you were an asshole. Now you're back. Now you're ruining things. You don't give me enough time to set up the Halloween haunted house that we do every year. So now we're not going to do it. So, but we're going to do it. We're going to take it to another American Legion post where I'm friends with, and that neighborhood kids will enjoy the haunted house. So
Yes,
that's the nonsense I'm talking about, that we don't communicate enough with each other to resolve our issues, even at our level. Nevertheless, at the federal level, where everybody wants to be in charge and everybody wants their name highlighted, ridiculous, right? In my opinion, it's ridiculous. And I've gone to the meetings to the Legion, and the last one, I just went off. I called them all crybabies and junior high school kids fighting over a girl because that's what they were doing. The mission of the American Legion is to support the community and help with the kids. That's their mission, right? That's the sole purpose of existence. And we can't even agree on a haunted house because he fired a waitress and I didn't like him for firing her because she was my friend, just like junior high school kids. And that's annoying.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I was talking to Ellie today, and we were talking about what's going on in talking about a haunted house, by the way. The House of Representatives is so haunted. It's unbelievable. I want the Wicked Witch of the Witch back.
Take your kids to Capitol Hill.
It is so bad. The Republicans are acting so bad. I wish Nancy Pelosi had just state speaker.
You know what I wish?
Because I know who she is. I could deal with that. I don't know who these guys are.
And I know with this comment, I'm going to piss off a lot of CRA people in California, but I don't give a shit. If the Republicans fought the Democrats as hard as they fight each other, maybe we would get somewhere.
There you go. You nailed it.
Right?
I'm speechless.
If they would fight the Democrats on the nonsense instead of fighting each other about, no, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. No, I'm better than you kind of crap. That's my perception. Maybe that's not the way they do it, but it sounds to me like they're a bunch of elementary school kids fighting.
I think nailed it, Tony.
And meanwhile, the Democrats are sitting back, eating their popcorn, and enjoying the show.
That's why all 212 voted for one person, because they had their shit together.
And think about this.
Well said. Well said,
guys. The effect of what they're doing, what effect is that going to have on local politics, right? Because right now people think about fucking Republicans, crybabies, freaking Republicans fighting each other. What happened to Republicans fighting for the people? You guys are the Abraham Lincoln Party, right? Standing up for people. You're not standing up for anybody but yourselves. And I have a problem with that. That bugs the crap out of me, not because I feel it's going to hurt me in my campaign, but it's hurting all the people. Right?
They're not going to have any confidence in anything that we do or say. They're not going to have people like us come into their caucus and tell them what the American people think and see if they can get their head out of their ass.
Well, you know why? Because we speak with common sense. That's why, right?
Yeah.
And they don't speak with common sense. Their nonsense is all about power. It's all about flexing muscle.
And we'll lay that on the table for them.
I was thinking, gentlemen, I was thinking today, in order to fix the Republican congressional conference, we hire a proctologist or a neurosurgeon.
I think they
got
a
proctologist.
Out of their ass.
I'd say a proctologist.
I would say
because it's funny the things that some of these people get caught up with. One thing I learned is there's many Republicans that think the solution to everything is religion, right? I'm not a big fan of that theory. I don't think that solves anything. I don't think everybody should be just one religion. If you're not that religion, you don't belong in the party. Or
it's wrong.
If you don't belong to this religion,
think that way.
Then you're not a good person. This religion is the only thing that can fix you, kind of attitude. And that's a wrong attitude to have, right?
Now drink the Kool-Aid.
Right. So kind of like
drink the Kool-Aid.
I shut down. You talk to me about, Tony, you're not a good Christian, or you don't go to church enough, or you're a Catholic. I had somebody that's running for assembly district in Beverly Hills tell me that she gave me 8 reasons why being a Catholic is horrible. And I kind of just told her, fuck you. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, if you want me to vote for you, and this is
you and Michael Corleone both.
I'm not voting for you.
Yeah.
You talk to me about the issues. I want to talk to me about schools, talk to me about law enforcement, talk to me about the economy. But don't sit there and tell me if you're not a Christian, you're not a good Republican. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. First of all, even a statement coming out of somebody's mouth like that shows that they do not understand the Constitution of the United States.
That's right.
Well, because they have this, and I don't know how they got this information, that the Constitution was just taken out of the Bible word by word, and
it wasn't. No, it was not.
It's not true. It's not true. But that's what they believe, right? That's what they believe, and that's the problem when people buy into the madness or drink the Kool-Aid, right? Like Jim Jones people, they die, right?
Right.
And
I
that's
got
the
'em.
problem that they keep drinking the Kool-Aid, and that's why we keep spiraling out of control. And we are where we are today, where you have
But
family and friends that don't speak.
but
You have
they ain't dying.
politicians, you have politicians not speaking. I had somebody ask me today, a family member, well, why didn't you tell me you were running? And I said, because I don't want to have a fight because I don't want you and your kids talking shit about me anymore. Right? I mean, common sense, right?
I know your thing.
Is
I
that
don't
what,
need your help.
is that what your wife said?
No, my wife,
No, that wasn't his
maybe it's okay.
wife.
I'll
No,
protect
that
you.
wasn't Sheila. I guarantee you that wasn't Sheila.
So, I mean, you have people with these wild ideas about
Oh yeah,
if you're if you if you don't like dark chocolate, you're bad, right?
yeah,
If you
yeah.
don't like fried chicken, there's something wrong with you. Like they always find something negative about what you like because they don't agree with it, which is stupid,
All right.
right?
Yeah.
Right? I only like vanilla ice cream. You can eat all the other fucking ice cream you want. I don't care. Right? I'm not gonna hold that against you. Right?
I got chocolate topping that goes on it.
But people are so silly about things, right? They get caught up on things that don't matter, right? I'm telling you, last night in that event, I talked to many people, and they were all friendly conversations, right? And if it got into politics, it was friendly conversation, right?
Yeah.
There was nothing, no negative. There really no negative vibes last night. Maybe there's a lot of alcohol, so maybe that's part of the reason. But
Well, you know what? I have to admire, and I'm not going to mention any names. I promise. I'm not going to mention it. But when you hear a guy ordering tequila and orange juice, you got to be impressed.
First of all, I don't drink wine, so this was a wine event.
Right.
I don't like wine. I only like whiskey.
See, you just
Tequila.
out of yourself. I was trying to protect your identity.
It's okay. You would have eventually spilled the beans.
I will tell you, don't take a drink from Elvis. Do not take a drink from Elvis.
No, and I saw that picture with you. I saw that picture with you.
Yeah,
I sent that picture.
You know what?
I sent that picture.
He had 1 part tequila and 1 part margarita mix.
Oh,
That was the only drink I had. Everything
after that.
Right?
I sent that picture of you, Tony, with Elvis. I sent that picture to Jim Jordan's office. Yeah, I sent that picture to Jordan's office, and now he's thinking about leaving the race for speaker because he wants to meet Elvis too.
he said, "Don't be cruel."
And on a good note, I found out Elvis has a radio show on 870 AM on Saturdays at 2 p.m.
There we go.
And I didn't know that.
And I just wanted to give you guys an update on me going out last week to Texas to the state fair. This thing is 100 miles wide and long. And I walked through the most of it and I was beat. I was going to go 2 days, but I only went 1. The next day they had a shooting.
Yeah.
And you went to the motherland.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead back into the local political arena in LA, right? So David Hernandez was in Long Beach today at an event, and he was mainly there to try to recruit people to run as Republicans because there's a lot of seats that there's no Republicans running, right? And it goes back to what I've been saying. The reason there's no people don't want to run as a Republican is because all the negative connotations that go with being a Republican nowadays, right? Because if you're a Republican, you're a racist. If you're a Republican, you're rich, right? Well, I'm not rich. I have to work 10, 12 hours a day. So there's a lot of negative connotations, and they're trying to recruit people to run the district. they have chosen for Tony Cardenas's district a guy named Jim Schuster. Nice guy, right? Older guy, because we can't get young people to get involved or engaged in running for office and being involved in the community, right? Because that takes a lot of work and effort, and people sometimes don't want to do that. So we do definitely have a problem with our base. In some states are fine. You know, Texas is good, Florida's great.
South
It's
Dakota.
not.
No.
Well, we got people from California bailing to run in Texas, so
Yeah.
they think they have a better shot in Texas than here.
Yeah.
But
And
my
here
point
too.
is that we don't recruit people. We don't show them all the things they can do, regardless of party affiliation, right? We
Right.
need more young people involved so that they learn the process, and whether they choose to be a Democrat or Republican or an independent, whatever they choose to be, who cares? As long as they do the right thing for everybody, right? Because I think deep down inside, what we're missing is we don't care for our neighbor, right? We say we do, we lie about it, but we really don't. Because if we did, we probably wouldn't be in half the stuff we're in today. We
Goes back
probably
to
would
what
not.
you were,
I
and
guess
it goes
it
back
all
to what you
depends
were
who
saying,
your
Tony.
neighbor is. If your
Go
neighbor's
ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
AOC, we're in deep shit. But if
Right.
it's
I
an
mean,
old guy named Shapiro, we might be a little better off because he's a little bit more knowledgeable.
and right, and I think what's happening is we're allowing the school system, whether it's elementary, middle school, high school, or college, to teach our kids with somebody else's opinion, not really facts, right? Kind
Exactly.
of like CRT, right? It's not very factual. It's all whatever they want to say. Kind of like sexuality, right? We know as people grow up, some are going to be LGBTQT. We know that, and that's okay. But you don't tell an 8-year-old that's confused, oh yeah, you're probably this. Well, they don't know that yet. They
They haven't
fucking don't know.
even gone through puberty.
Half the time,
Exactly.
12 and 13-year-olds have shit stains in their underwear because they don't know how to wipe their ass properly. But yeah, we're gonna give them the authority to cut off their boobs, cut off their penis, because they feel like there's something.
And then they'll
And
kill themselves.
you tell me, and Tony, you tell me that our 435 members of the U.S. House of Representatives, they don't have shit stains either.
Oh, they'll dumbasses.
Exactly.
Those guys are all stupid. Well, they're not stupid because they got elected, so they're making a lot of money off our stupidity because we voted them in, right?
I know, and this is why Ronald Reagan said, Ronald Reagan, when he ran for governor of California, he said, you know what? When I got into politics, I noticed that the oldest profession in the world has a very close resemblance to the first, or to politics. And politicians, they sell their souls and their conscience. I mean, look at this asshole who I don't understand why they're still keeping him. I think even Mike agrees with me on this one. That asshole from New York, he needs to go.
Schumer.
You know what I'm talking about?
Schumer.
Robert, no, talking about the Republican, the gay Republican.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think the sad part of all this is I'm going to give you guys an example. I'm running against right now 7 Democrats as of today, right, for my district. One of those guys is belongs to the Karen Bass organization, right? So he's getting money from Soros and Newsom and Pelosi. Nice guy. He looks really nice on video. Very articulate. But he's going to be tough to beat, right? Because of the support he has, right? And he's a Democrat in a district that is predominantly Democrat. So,
well, I mean, yeah,
you know, but my point is, if we take all that away and let people run on their merits, maybe we wouldn't have jackasses in office like Adam Schiff. Right?
True.
And that's my point, that I know we have to amend the Constitution for term limits. At some point, whether it's in my lifetime or the next lifetime, they got to come to terms with term limits. They got to come to terms with, okay, everybody gets a certain amount. If you're running for this office, you can't use any more than that, and you run on your merits, right?
Right.
You run on debating your merits, what you're doing, and that's it.
You're right, Tony. And John, so I miss him. I mean, one of those independent Republican leaders in my life. But I remember when John McCain and Senator Biden created a bill on that very issue. Also finance, campaign finance. Both parties knocked it down. They didn't pass it. The Feingold bill was one of the best bills, and so we can keep preaching this until we're blue in the face. Fact is, Washington doesn't want that. Washington wants.
The fact is,
it's because they're broken.
The people need to want that, though. That's my thing. If the people don't push back and they don't demand, they're never going to get. At some point, you have to fight, right? And I don't mean physical fighting and shooting people. You have to fight for what's right. One thing I give credit to that new organization called Leave My Kids Alone. That dude, Manouk, he's everywhere fighting for kids, whether they're his kids or somebody else's kids. He's going to school district in the Inland Empire. He's going to Orange County, and his school's in the San Fernando Valley, right? So there's people out there that are willing to fight. We just got to find them and give them a little nudge so they fight, because that's what's missing. We don't have fight in parents. We don't have fight in people that vote. Everybody's like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it. There is something you can do about it. You can get off your happy ass and vote for the right person. And if you don't like who's in office, vote that son of a bitch out, right? Let's not keep people like Gascon in office because we're too lazy to sign a paper, right?
Or keep around till they die.
I mean, it's not that it's even disheartening. It pisses me off that we allow this as a society, right? That we don't demand things from our leaders. I want to know what Newsom's about to give $6 billion to the homeless program, right? $6 billion. Are we going to build $800,000 apartments for these people? Because most people can't afford apartments, right? Or condos anymore, right? It's not cheap in California. $6 billion. I would first like to know. I know he's going to put it in a bond. That means that somebody's going to make money off that bond. It's not going to be me, right? So who's going to pick up that tab? Homeowners, probably, right? Or some kind of fee or membership fee, and they charge you whatever they want to charge you to make up that money, right? Because we're never going to know where the money goes. We're never going to know who's going to be helped. And it's going to be $6 billion down the drain. Right? And Californians are going to approve that. That's the sad part, because they're going to buy into the madness that the money's going to be used for the right reasons, and it's not.
Well, Nancy Pelosi's husband will probably make a profit off that.
Oh, yeah.
He's already done it. We have so much money. We have so much budget money missing for homeless projects, and they were going to do the whole hotel thing and everything. Nobody wants to account for it. Today, stand up and say, "Where'd it go?" I mean, $11 million out of Long Beach. Get a break.
It probably went to Las Vegas and got dumped in a slot machine.
Yeah, probably.
I actually believe. Well, I actually will be right. Hell.
And I'll tell you this: I don't think people understand that bonds. Some banker is making money off those bonds. somebody's making extra money off those bonds, and it's not the taxpayer.
It's like selling stock as a company. Stock is the same thing.
So, guys, I gotta, it's up the hour now. I want to thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, Mikey, Al. You're the man. Steamboat Willie, I got your back, no matter what crazy shit you do.
I love my team.
I want everybody
have
to
much.
know.
I don't have much, but I got you guys.
If you live in La Crescenta, Montrose, Glendale, Burbank, Tahunga, Valley Village, Shadow Hills, look me up on my website, Tony4 California.us. I am running for California Assembly District 44. If you want to make a difference and you want change, vote for Tony Rodriguez. Have a great night, everybody.
Hey, guys.